Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Chris here, and today we are trying another Scotch from Highland Park. They're right out of Orkney. Orkney is the highest island in Scotland. It sits like if this is Scotland, the mainland here, Orkney is like way up here. Norway's here and Denmark's here. So in the 9th century, the Danes and the Norwegians, the Vikings decided they're going to go on an adventure. We're going to go and conquer some new lands and see what's out there. So right away, because literally Orkney is only 20 miles from Norway and Denmark, so they're there all the time. Initially they were the invaders, but then they became, you know, kind of part of the culture, and they were craftsmen, they were farmers, they were traders, and settled right in there. And to this day, 1 in 3 Orcadians have Viking DNA in them, which is pretty cool. Because my family's from Denmark, and so the Highland Park Scotch has kind of got a little closeness to my heart, because my family were Vikings at one point, many years ago, and this Scotch is honoring the Vikings. So yeah, they went to Orkney around in the year 800, and they ruled from 800 to 1498. And yeah, you could see in the towns and everything like that. Not that I've ever been there. The closest to Denmark and Scotland that I've been was I was a pilot up north in the Arctic, in the high Arctic. I was living in a place called Resolute Bay, and I flew out of Resolute Bay over to Pond Inlet, and there was the Inuit went out for their annual polar bear hunt. And they said, oh, we got chased back by the red bear. And this was in the news and everything. I even believe, I think one of the pictures that I took ended up in the news, and National Geographic was interested in it, but I don't think they got it. They might have. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. I don't know. I was a long time ago. But anyway, so the Inuit went out on a polar bear hunt out of Pond Inlet. And we're like, oh, we're chased back by the red bear. And what the hell are you talking about, the red bear? Well, what had happened was the ice had frozen up early, and there were 700 narwhal trying to breathe out of this one hole, and the polar bears were in there. And I was watching them because we flew right over them, about 50 feet above them, and they were taking these 2,500-pound whales out of the water with one hand, and they were in the water and stuff, eating them and everything. These bears are incredibly powerful. So we were tasked with going up and doing this narwhal expedition, and we were trying to find breathing holes for these narwhal. Well, the ice fog was at 100 feet, so we're down around 50 feet above the ground. So down, like the horizon would be here, and we're flying down below the horizon. Most of the time, it's great to be above the horizon, because then you can, you know, turn and bank, and you don't have anything to worry about. But when you're down below the horizon, you don't have any visual reference to the ground, so you're just constantly on your instruments. And we couldn't put the autopilot on, because the autopilot would hunt by 50 feet, especially in a turn. And I was flying, I believe it was a King Air 100. And so I had my co-pilot with me, and I said, you just make sure you just keep your eyes glued on the turn and bank indicator and the airspeed indicator. If you see that airspeed indicator coming up, or, oh sorry, my vertical speed indicator coming down, you let me know right away, because we're in a descent and we're going to crash into the ground. And there was no visual reference, because it was all snowy and ice, and you couldn't see anything, and we're just on instruments, and we're looking down for holes for these narwhal to breathe out of. So we flew all over the Arctic. We ended up in Greenland. We flew all up the coast of Greenland. We flew for about 10 hours straight with these biologists on board looking for these holes. Never did find any. Went back, landed in Pond Inlet, got gas, and flew back to Resolute Bay. But so that's the closest I've ever come to Denmark, and Denmark owns Greenland. So, but yeah, so this Highland Park Scotch is absolutely amazing. They're right up there with the Arctic Circle. So they got these crazy ass winds that blow through there, like 100-mile-an-hour winds, and no tree can grow up there. Just kind of like the Arctic here in Canada, and there's no trees up there either. So what happens is, because there's no wood there, all that peat compresses to very dense, because there's no wood in there to kind of soften it. So it becomes really super dense. Burns really slow, and because there's no wood, you don't have those woody flavors and notes to them. So it's very different tasting peat smoke to Highland Park peat from Orkney. It's absolutely incredible. And the climate up there is really, it's really harsh, but it's not that bad. Nothing like Canada. Canada will go from -40 here in Winnipeg. I think it's the only place in the world that goes from -40 to +40 in one season. Lots of places go to -40, lots of places go to +40. But in Winnipeg, we get that in one season, and there's no other place in the world that does that. And it's because we live in this little bowl, and it's a very weird little ecosystem that we have here for this extreme weather, like super hot to super, super cold. And a lot of times, Winnipeg is actually colder than the surface of Mars. It's crazy. But in Orkney, their coldest is +2. Usually their warmest is about +16. So it is an absolutely perfect place to mature their Scotch whiskey in their warehouses. It's amazing. It's a great place, and it's very, very unique, and the Scotch they produce is very, very, very unique as well. And case in point, this is the Highland Park Cask Strength Batch 3, 64.1% ABV. I have 2 bottles of this. Got a bunch of little birds here sitting beside me. God, they're cute. They're all a bunch of little sparrows. I feed my birds. I'm buddies with all of them. I've got blue jays that come and sit beside me, and crows that follow me around, and I've got these little sparrows sitting like, I don't know, 4 feet from me, scratching around in the grass looking for their sunflower seeds that I put out. I'm constantly feeding the birds. The other day I came home from a walk. The crows followed me on my walk, and they came home. Neighbors must think this house is haunted, because there was 40 crows sitting in the yard and on our house, all looking for their peanuts. I mean, they bang on the window to, hey, idiot, peanuts are out. We need a refill. So I put a little dish of like this, like aluminum pan or aluminium pan out, and fill it up full of peanuts, and then when it's done, they flip their little dish upside down, just letting they know that they need a refill. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on beside me here, if you can hear them squawking away and buzzing around the grass. But let's get back to the Scotch here. So yeah, this is a 64.1% ABV. Absolutely amazing Scotch. We just love this stuff. I've got the 1, 2, and 3 editions. I've still got to get number 4. Hopefully for Spirit release, they'll be releasing that here in Winnipeg. I did get this in Winnipeg because this was one of the cheapest places I can find it. Normally I get a lot of my stuff at craft sellers and BSW, but in this case it was about $30 cheaper to buy it here with the shipping and everything than outside the province. So I got 2 bottles of this, one to kind of keep and house for the future, and then one to open and enjoy. And boy, am I ever happy I got this, because this is incredible. I had my cousins Chrissy and Dave over from St. Thomas, Ontario. My little brother Toddy, he's out in Newmarket, Ontario, and Kurt was in from Vernon, BC. They were in for my nephew's wedding, so everybody was all over. We're all hanging out, and this is one of the bottles that we tried. And you can see on this, it's very similar, exactly the same actually, to the Highland Park 12. The bottle, so a lot of Viking ruins on it. They're honoring their Viking heritage. To open this bottle, it's got a locking system, so you can't just pull it off. You got to give it a twist like this, and then it pops up. And then to put it back, you give it another twist, and it locks. So if you try to yank it off, you're actually going to break the bottle. So twist it and then pull up. Oh, does that ever smell good? So you can see that it's a nice dark amber at 64.1%. There's no way this is colored, but I don't believe it says not colored and not chill filtered. And unless I'm missing something, but this is cask strength, you know. So, and I don't think cask strength whiskey is ever colored or chill filtered. But it does not say anything like that on the box or on the bottle. I mean, I'm looking just really quickly. I'm not going over it really in depth, but usually it's right on there saying, you know, non-chill filtered, non-colored. But it doesn't say that here. It just says Highland Park Cask Strength Single Malt Scotch Whiskey, 64.1% volume by alcohol and 750 ml. So, but we can assume that it's not. But look how dark that is. And it is housed in 3 different types of casks. So they've got sherry cask, and then you've got an American oak and a European oak. And then there's a series, they didn't say how many, but there's a series of different refill casks. So to give that extra bit of complexity to the Scotch. And boy, is it complex. So a lot of peat smoke to it. And the peat that comes out of Orkney is very different than the peat that comes out of Islay. It doesn't have those medicinal notes to it. It's more similar to a Highland peat. But the Highland peat definitely has wood in it, whereas this Orkney peat does not, so it's a little different. But there's no medicinal notes to it. But you can smell right away there's vanilla, toffee, peat, caramel, almost like candied apples almost. You know those caramel apples you get at the fair? Like that, those notes to it, some spice. Definitely smell the alcohol. Wow, is that smooth? No, that's really nice. Really, really nice. 64.1%. Doesn't have any burn going down. You have the burn, the spice to it, just on the side of your tongue, and it's just mouth coating. Like it fills your mouth. It's definitely salivating. It just wants, you want to have more. It's got a drying note to it to the finish, very long finish to it. A lot of caramel, lots of nuts, coffee notes to it, toffee, espresso bean, dark chocolate, for sure spice, and you've got that peat smoke that's just kind of like coating it, you know, that's just kind of a blanket that sits over top of it, but not overpowering to it. Definitely very spicy. Well, not really spicy, not like a rye, but it's still spicy because of the 64.1%. But there's no burn going down the throat. It just it's like a spice on the side of the tongue, and it's absolutely amazing. But a very dry finish to it, but still salivating and mouth filling. Like it's different. It's an absolutely incredible Scotch. Like burnt brown sugar to it, toasted notes. Got a fruit fly here that wants to get into the Scotch as well, but he can't have any. This is mine. A little bit of bacon tones to it, but not a whole lot. Not like the triple wood or any of the stuff from Lagavulin or Lafroig and stuff like that. Like the Lag 16, when it opens up, it gets that really bacony notes. Same with say an Ardbeg, or like the Freud triple wood is very similar to that. Not like that, but it's still that crispy bacon to it, but not those crispy, like hard notes to it. It's just got like a light bacony taste to it. Really, really, really nice stuff. Super easy to drink at 64.1%. I've had this a few times without any water at all, no problem at all, because I really like the flavors to it. I really like that spice. I really like the notes. But I know when you add water, it just creams right up. The spice usually just dissipates, and it gets like really coffee notes to it, nuts. But we'll try it and we'll see. But I want to take one more just without the water because it's so good. Yeah, really, really, really nice. Just add a little bit of water. It did cloud up a bit, so I did see the Scotch mist to it. I can't see the camera through it like I used to. Let's give it a swirl around here and just yeah, see, there's no, you can't smell like that alcohol vapors coming out of it. A lot of vanilla, a lot of caramel, toffee, coffee, milk chocolate. So I'm sure this has toned it right down, but I've had it a few times, so I'm fairly familiar with this particular Scotch. Mm. Mm. Yeah, amazing. Exactly how I said. Espresso, milk chocolate, nuts, cream, toffee, caramel. Yeah, just really nice. No burn whatsoever, so you don't have that spice on your tongue anymore. Peat smoke is still there, but not as prevalent as it was, but it wasn't really all that super prevalent before. It just kind of blankets it. That's a really nice thing about this Highland Park stuff. You're not really a peat guy, and I love peat, and I love smoke. The smokier the better for me, but this is a really nice compromise as well. They do such a good job at Highland Park. But if you're not a big peat guy, but you want to try to introduce yourself to it, get the Highland Park 12. Like, you'll really enjoy that, you know, and it just kind of introduces you to peat. It's good. It's nice stuff. But this, yeah, it just tones it right down. There's no, like I said, there's no spice. It's really creamy and it thickens up as well. So, I was got a message the other day from one of my subscribers, and really great idea actually. And I don't know why I didn't think of it, because I'll do it for wine, and I've been into wine since I was 18. Scotch for many years as well. Whiskey, rum, tequila, that kind of stuff. And I have been studying the sommelier courses for Scotch and wine, and starting to get a little bit into the cigar som stuff, but really kind of learning and studying more of the wine and the Scotch, you know, like the whiskey. And it's something I've always been interested in. So I've got the books. I've been reading them up like crazy. Whenever I've got some time, I'm always sitting down reading, because I want to expand my knowledge. And you know, someday I might do the course, you know, become a sommelier. But I don't know. Like, I'm just doing it for my own interest, you know. But I have helped quite a few of my wedding clients, wedding couples. You know, like they'll go in for their tasting. And I said, and then at the wedding, I said, "Oh, how's the food?" And they're like, "Well, it was good, but you know, it tasted a little better, you know, when we did our initial tasting." And I'm like, "Oh, well, what'd you have with your wine? What'd you have to eat?" "I don't know. We had red. It was red, and we had chicken." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And you look, and it's like this heavy cab with creamy chicken. Well, that's not gonna go. So I've been helping on my. I offer, like, you know, for free, to help people pair wine and food, pair Scotch and cigars, that kind of stuff. And because it's knowledge that I've learned and still learning. I think once you think that you know everything, it's time to probably get out, because it's a constant, lifelong search for knowledge, and that's the kind of stuff that I really like. If I don't learn something new every day, then I think it's kind of a wasted day. But so anyway, so yeah, I've been into the som books, and I've been interested in this for a long time, and I've been studying it for a couple of years now. The wine ones, probably wine som books, probably 10 years now I've been reading them. And some of the guys that I know that are soms, like, I don't know why you don't go take the test, you know, as much as we do. And I'm like, I don't know, it's just for self-interest. I don't do it for a living, you know. And I was a pilot back then. Now I'm a professional photographer and travel quite a bit. So if you're looking for a photographer, and if you're in Canada, I never charge mileage. Just put me up in a hotel. And in the States, if I can drive there, I'll do the same thing. You know, I'll come down and shoot your wedding. Just put me in a hotel. And yeah, been named one of the top photographers in Manitoba and Winnipeg, top 10 in Canada, and one of the top 30 most influential ones in North America. So it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy what I do now, and I've been doing it for 12 years full time, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Some of my best friends are some of my wedding clients, but so it's been a really good. It's been really fun. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. One of my viewers said, you know, like, you've got, geez, fruit flies everywhere. they're trying to get all liquored up. They said, well, why don't you tell us or give us some ideas of what you would pair this, say, your Scotch with a cigar. You know, that's a really great idea, you know. So I'm learning from you guys. You guys come up with some great ideas. So I thought I would show you 2 cigars today, because there's probably a million of them out there, and I probably got, you know, probably 200 that I could easily pair perfectly with this particular Scotch in my humidors. But I thought I would do 2 just for time's sake. This one here we've seen. This one is going into, I believe this one is my 1,000 subscriber humidor. And this is the Alec Bradley Gatekeeper Robusto. An absolute amazing cigar. God, it smells so good too. And the reason why I picked this one here is because it's got, you know, it's got some cedar, some wood to it. It's got some sweet tobacco notes to it, so it really goes well with this, because it's not super sweet, but when you add water to it, boy, does it ever just cream out. And this would be a really good cigar to go with this particular Scotch. And it's got a bit of a spice that would really pair well with it, but it's not overwhelming spice, so I think it's not competing with each other. It would just go really good with it, and this creamy smoke to it would go great with this peat smoke. So yeah, the Alec Bradley Gatekeeper I would definitely pair well with the Highland Park Cask Strength number 3. And the second one we haven't seen yet, but we will. This is the Rocky Patel Sun-Grown Maduro Lancero. Absolutely stunning cigar. Really elegant. I'll do a full review on this, so I'm not going to review it right now, but really nice cigar. Just trust me on that. Smokes incredibly well. But this has got like notes of espresso and dark chocolate and that dark coffee notes to it, spice, nuts, cream, and some wood notes to it. So this would be really nice with this particular Scotch. All the way through, neat, and with a little bit of water. Both of these cigars would go really well. So yeah, the Rocky Patel Sun-Grown Maduro Lancero and the Alec Bradley Gatekeeper Robusto would be really nice. Both nice Maduro wrappers to them. Both, so they have that chocolate notes to it, some spice to it. Both, oh, there goes Earl the squirrel, very busy. So yeah, so they have the Maduro wrappers. You got that chocolatey notes, that spice, the wood notes, the cream, coffee notes to it, the espresso, and I think it would just go really really great with this particular Scotch. So those are the 2 I would definitely recommend. There's a million more that you can pick though, like so easy. There's probably 24 right now that I could easily tell you that would go great with this particular Scotch, but for time constraints I thought I would just do 2. But I truly appreciate you guys watching. Really do. You guys have made my day. Thank you for your time. That's something that you're never going to get back. You know, you invested your time in this, and I don't take that lightly. You know, it doesn't matter how rich you are, you can never buy back that time. So I really appreciate you guys investing some time watching this video. I really do appreciate it more than you guys know, and thank you for that. I'm going to be drumming out 2 ounces into a little 2-ounce sample bottle. I got a little box. I'm going to put it together, and once that box is full, I'm going to send it out to one of my lucky subscribers. And for a chance to win that and any of my other giveaways, all you got to do is like and subscribe to my channel, and that's just as easy as that. There's going to be a lot of videos to come, lots of great stuff to come, lots of giveaways to go. I've got tons of Scotch and whiskey and every other kind of imaginable booze to review with you guys and to give away. So thank you. I really appreciate you guys, your time. Please like and subscribe. Share this with your friends if you find it that they might like it as well. And take care. Have yourself a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers. That's good. That's good stuff. Have a good one. Bye-bye.